Over our 6-year project, we've used a variety of Trailcams, including probably the gold standard, which is the Reconyx, but ultimately we settled on a mid-price range, mid-quality range model called the Bushnell Trophy Cam, and more recently the Bushnell Aggressor. These are the three Bushnells here. They look very different, but their components are probably quite similar, and certainly when it comes to comparing the results that we get from our different Trailcam sites, knowing that we've used cameras that have similar manufacture and similar consistency gives us some confidence in comparing the results across our project. So this is an example of the Bushnell unit that we've been using, the Bushnell HD Trophy Cam. Here's the illuminators for nighttime vision, the lens, and the PAR, the heat and motion sensor. It's a clamshell unit, and on the inside you've got the AA batteries, the screen, and the buttons for the settings. What's really important is that you mark each of the cameras individually so that you know which camera you're using at which site, particularly when it comes to possible malfunctions, or if something's gone wrong with the camera, you know which unit you're using. Some cameras have a display that lets you see exactly what the camera's seeing. These Bushnells don't have that, so it's important to get the setup right at the beginning. A couple of useful tips when setting up your cameras. Make sure you uniquely number your cameras and the SD cards. This will help you keep track of them during the project, and also if some units malfunction. A data sheet will also help you keep track of multiple cameras, dates and locations. Format the sheet so that the contents can be imported into a results sheet if needed. As a general rule, document everything you do. We always overestimate how much we can remember. Be aware that individual units, even of the same make and model, can behave differently. The trigger speed might vary slightly differently, the illumination might vary. So there's only one way to become really familiar with the units that you're using, and that is lots of practice. Most Trailcams use AA battery, in this case 8 for the Bushnell, and we've chosen to use rechargeable batteries, which seem to work perfectly well. These Bushnells have a trigger time of around about 0.2 of a second, which seems to be okay. Though the detection field of view varies between makes and models, in other words how movement is detected, and can influence how quickly the shutter triggers, which makes it hard to directly compare different units, generally the quicker the rated trigger speed on your camera, the better. If you have a particular target species, for example bandicoot size, you could adjust the settings on the camera so that smaller animals like moths, mice and antechinus, or small objects like falling leaves are less likely to trigger the camera. However, because it takes a lot of trial and error to work out what size animal will trigger the camera, and because you really do want to collect as much information as you can from each site, it's best to set up the Trailcam to capture every movement and then put effort into minimizing false triggers. And be assured that every Trailcam user occasionally gets an SD card full of stills or video of a fern frond or grass tussock waving in the breeze. That's just part of the territory.